Have you ever considered what it would be like to dance through life, guided not by the chaotic rhythms of daily stress, but by a more divine melody? The concept might sound far-fetched to some, but for those who delve into spiritual teachings, it's a profound reality. Every morning, we are presented with a choice. Carry over the burdens of yesterday or embrace a fresh start with hope and trust in divine guidance. This choice isn't just about navigating life's uncertainties. It's about transforming how we experience each moment. The Bible often emphasizes the importance of living in the present, highlighting how our worries about tomorrow only add unnecessary weight to our day. Scriptures like Matthew chapter 6, verse 34 advise us to focus on today's troubles, which are sufficient on their own. This isn't merely about avoiding foresight, but about emphasizing mindfulness and trust in the journey. By surrendering our anxieties daily, as suggested in 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7, we not only offload our fears, but also affirm our faith in a higher power's care. The metaphor of life as a dance is particularly compelling. Instead of painstakingly choreographing every move, we can learn to let go and trust the rhythm of a greater plan. This dance is not about precision, but about grace, learning to align our steps with a divine beat that promises to lead us not into further anxiety, but towards peace. It's about allowing ourselves to be guided by a faith that steadies us amidst life's twirls and tumbles. The image from Revelation chapter 22, verse 5, describes a world always filled with light, where there is no night and no need for lamps. This picture reminds us of how God's guidance is always present and never ending. This vision isn't just a distant eschatological hope, but a present comfort symbolizing the unending presence and support we are offered. In every decision, doubt, or difficulty, we are enveloped by this celestial light, a constant reminder of the divine embrace that supports and reigns supreme through all of life's uncertainties. It's fascinating, isn't it? How often we find ourselves trying to take the wheel in the stormiest parts of our lives. We grapple with the reins of control, as if we're convinced that the right maneuvering can spare us from any turbulence. But this scripture nudges us to reconsider. It poses an intriguing question. What if letting go is what actually helps us navigate through these storms? It suggests a different approach, one that might feel counterintuitive at first, but could potentially lead to a smoother journey. Picture a leaf floating down a river. It doesn't try to control where the water takes it. It simply goes with the flow. This serene image serves as a powerful metaphor for surrender in our own lives. Imagine applying this same principle to our daily struggles. Instead of resisting the current of life with worry and relentless control, we can choose to trust in something greater than ourselves. The idea here is not about being passive. It's about a conscious decision to trust that we're being guided to where we need to be. This trust is rooted in a belief that our lives are part of a larger divine narrative. Just like characters in a well-written story, we don't need to know every plot twist ahead of time. Instead, we can rely on the author, in this case, a loving God, to bring the story to its best conclusion. By giving ourselves over to this divine current, we're not just aimlessly drifting. We're traveling towards a promised tranquility, guided by hands far wiser than our own. Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 and 7 rounds out this idea beautifully by transforming it from mere comfort to a proactive call. These verses don't just soothe, they instruct. Don't be paralyzed by anxiety, they say. Instead, bring everything, every worry, every wish, to God through prayer and thanksgiving. This practice isn't just about asking for things to go our way. It's about aligning ourselves with God's peace, a peace so profound that it shields our hearts and minds, helping us navigate life's inevitable ups and downs with a steadier heart and a clearer mind. What a freeing way to live, don't you think? Isn't it intriguing how we often clutch tightly at the reins of control in our lives? It's like we're somehow convinced that if we just hold on a little tighter, we can steer clear of any storms ahead. Yet, there's this beautiful, counterintuitive wisdom that suggests the opposite might actually be true. Letting go could be the very thing that frees us. Take, for example, the analogy of a child crossing a busy street while firmly holding their parent's hand. There's a profound sense of security that comes from that simple act. The child doesn't worry about the oncoming cars or the traffic lights. Their trust is wholly in the parent leading them. It's a powerful image that captures the essence of how we can approach life's uncertainties by trusting that we are being led safely across, even amid life's chaos. This journey from anxiety to trust isn't always easy. It feels more natural to grip tighter, to try and control every outcome. But imagine the relief and peace that come from releasing that grip. Think of it like being a leaf carried smoothly along a river's current. There's no resistance, just a gentle surrender to the flow, trusting that it will carry you where you need to go. This surrender isn't about giving up. It's about giving over, handing over our fears and letting a greater power guide us. As we learn to entrust our worries to this divine guidance, we find something remarkable, a peace that truly surpasses all understanding. This peace doesn't just shield us from troubles. It transforms our trials into triumphs. Suddenly, each worry that knocks on our door becomes an opportunity to witness how beautifully things can unfold when we let go and let God. This isn't to say the skies will always be clear. We'll definitely face our share of storms, but faith acts like an anchor in those turbulent waters. When we cast this anchor deep into the love of God, we find a stillness, a steadiness that defies the chaos above. It's about recognizing that while we can't control the storm, we can control our response to it. Choosing faith over fear anchors us securely, no matter how rough the seas get. Remember the verses from Philippians, where we're urged not to be anxious about anything, but in every situation to present our requests to God with thanksgiving. This scripture isn't just comforting, it's instructive. It teaches us that our response to life's uncertainties should be prayer and gratitude, not worry and fear. This shift in approach doesn't just change our inner state, it changes how we experience life itself. So, the next time you feel overwhelmed by the worries of life, think about that child crossing the street, the leaf floating down the river, or the anchor steadying the boat. Each of these images teaches us about the power of surrender, the strength found in faith, and the transformative peace that comes when we truly trust in God's guidance. As we navigate the waters of life, let's anchor our hearts in this trust, casting aside our fears and embracing the freedom that comes from believing in a divine plan that is always, unfailingly, for our good. Isn't it remarkable how often we try to handle everything on our own? We push through life's challenges with gritted teeth, thinking that if we just work a little harder, hold on a little tighter, we can control the outcome of every situation. Yet, this text from Psalm 121 offers us a gentle yet powerful reminder. We don't have to go it alone. There's an eternal guardian watching over us, one who never even blinks. Imagine the comfort in knowing that, unlike our human protectors who need to rest, God's vigilance is ceaseless. He's like a watchful parent who never tires, always keeping an eye on us, ensuring we don't stumble as we make our way through life's unpredictable paths. It's a profoundly comforting thought, especially during those nights when the world seems overwhelming and our burdens feel too heavy to carry alone. This vigilance isn't just about keeping us safe from harm. It's about guiding us toward our true potential. When we understand that we are not designed to carry the weight of the world alone, it becomes easier to let go and lean on God's strength. Our limitations, far from being flaws, are reminders to rely on His omnipotence. They nudge us to embrace a partnership with the divine, where our efforts are matched and magnified by His power. And how do we make this shift from self-reliance to divine reliance? It starts with a humble submission, a decision to entrust our cares and concerns to God. This isn't about giving up on solving our problems, but recognizing that the best solutions come when we partner with God. It means changing our first reaction from anxiety to prayer, from panic to peace, knowing that He is in control and working things out for our good. Living this way transforms our everyday experiences. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to witness God's provision and protection. Each decision is an opportunity to exercise faith, to cast our anxieties onto Him and watch how He turns our trials into triumphs. Over time, this becomes a beautiful surrender, a serene acceptance that amidst the chaos of existence, there is a divine order and a loving vigilance that never ceases. It's about stepping into each day with the confidence of a child holding a parent's hand, secure in the knowledge that we are guided, loved, and never alone. Isn't it something how life's challenges aren't just obstacles, but are actually calls to draw closer to something greater than ourselves? Think about it. Whenever we're faced with a tough situation, it's almost as if there's a gentle nudge nudging us back to the heart of the divine. This idea flips our whole perspective on struggles. Instead of dreading them, we can view them as reminders to reconnect with our spiritual anchor. In moments when the world feels foggy with uncertainty, there's a particular comfort found in scriptures like 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 7, which encourages us to cast all our anxieties onto God because He genuinely cares for us. It's like being told that it's okay to let go of the weight we've been carrying. There's someone infinitely stronger who can carry it for us. What a relief that is, right? It's not about shirking responsibility, but about sharing the burden with a loving God who wants to help us. Then there's the Apostle Paul in Galatians chapter 2, verse 20, offering a strikingly bold take on faith. He talks about a life lived not on his own steam, but through Christ, who lives in him. It's a profound shift from striving on our own to thriving through faith. Paul's life exemplifies how embracing faith can radically transform how we live, guiding us through life's complexities with a grace that's not our own. Now, consider how this translates into our daily grind. Every time worry tries to creep in, we have a choice. We can let it consume us, or we can confront it with faith, using prayer not just as a ritual, but as a powerful exchange. Imagine prayer as a meeting place where you hand over your fears and in return pick up hope and strength. It's a dynamic, living conversation with God where we're not just heard, but also helped. Jesus himself showed us how it's done. During his time on earth, he continually turned to prayer, entrusting his concerns and mission to God. If anyone had a reason to worry, it was him, facing immense pressures and ultimate sacrifices. Yet, his reliance on divine guidance stands as a lesson in trust. He didn't just preach faith, he practiced it, showing us the power of a life surrendered to God's will. So, when you find yourself trying to navigate through the waters of uncertainty, think of it like setting sail on a vast ocean. You could try to control the wind and waves on your own, or you could unfurl the sails of faith and let God's grace propel you forward. It's about recognizing that although we can't control the weather, we can adjust our sails, our attitudes and beliefs to align with the divine wind. Each time a storm hits, remember, you're not steering the boat alone. With faith as your anchor and trust as your compass, no tempest can veer you off course. This journey might be fraught with challenges, but with God as your guide, you're bound for the tranquil shores of his perfect will. Each challenge, each worry, becomes an opportunity to deepen your trust, to reinforce your faith, and to discover the profound peace that comes from sailing in sync with the divine.
till the day I die.